The Bible never gives us a calendar date for the birth of Jesus, but it does give us timing, patterns, and meaning. When Scripture is allowed to interpret Scripture, and history is allowed to speak alongside it, a consistent picture begins to emerge. One that places the birth of Christ not in winter tradition, but in the fall, on one of God's appointed times. The idea that Jesus was born on December 25th does not come from Scripture. Luke tells us shepherds were in the fields watching their flocks by night, something unlikely in winter Judea. More importantly, throughout Scripture, God does not act randomly. He acts according to appointed times. History helps narrow the window. Ancient Chinese records describe a visible star or celestial sign in 5 BCE, lasting long enough to be carefully recorded. This aligns with Matthew's account of a star that appeared and remained visible. We also know King Herod the Great died in 4 BC. Since Herod was alive at the time of the birth of Jesus, the Messiah must have been born before this, placing his birth in 5 BC. Luke gives us one of the most overlooked chronological clues. John the Baptist's father, Zechariah, served in the priestly division of Abijah, whose service occurred in late spring to early summer. After completing his service, Elizabeth conceived. 6 months later, the angel Gabriel appeared to Mary. That timing places Mary's conception round late fall or early winter, near the season of Hanukkah, the festival of lights. While not a Levitical feast, its symbolism fits powerfully. The light of the world entering darkness. 9 months after a winter conception brings us to early fall. This places the birth of Jesus not in winter tradition, but squarely within the season of God's fall appointments. The Feast of Trumpets is a day of announcement. Trumpets awaken the people, call attention, and herald the arrival of a king. But trumpets does not mark dwelling. That comes next. Tabernacles is the feast that celebrates God dwelling with his people. This is why John writes, "The Word became flesh and tabernacled among us." Not merely arriving, but dwelling. The patterns do more than point to tabernacles in general. They appear to lead us toward the first day of the feast, when God begins to dwell with his people. Tabernacles spans 7 days, and then gives way to an 8th, Shemini Atzeret. The 8th day is also when Jewish male infants enter the covenant through circumcision. Once again, the timing reflects the pattern. The patterns surrounding the birth of Jesus do not stand alone. They extend forward into his life, his ministry, and his death. To test this timeline, we must look to where Scripture places the end. Only then can we ask whether the beginning and the end align. All 4 Gospels place the death of Jesus at Passover. Many scholars date the crucifixion to AD 30, in early spring. Daniel's prophecy describes the Messiah's work unfolding over a half week, 3.5 years. When counted backward from Passover in AD 30, this span points toward early October. The same season suggested by Luke's timeline. The same season reflected in the feasts. The beginning and the end appear to align. Now that we've walked through the evidence, we can step back and view the timeline as a whole. The end of the story is fixed clearly in the Gospels. The length of the ministry is supplied by prophecy. When those 2 points are placed together, the beginning falls naturally into place. Luke's account does not conflict with that result. Neither do the appointed times. What emerges is not a forced conclusion, but a coherent one. If this study was helpful, consider liking the video and subscribing for future content, as we continue exploring Scripture together.